right, everyone. Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night to all my past. Well, not past. I can't call it past as yet. But to my students pre Hurricane Melissa, and to the students who registered a few weeks before and never get a chance to log in, and students who registered a little bit after um the trauma that our country went through. Welcome everyone. I don't know everyone of this. I'm not even aware that you were new students that were going to be logged into the class. But a pleasant greetings to you all. I hope you enjoy um, our learning platform hub here, our learning hub, where you're going to be prepared extensively for your 2025-2026 external examination. Right. So new students, my name is Mr. Peart, and I assume that my, my previous students don't forget my name, right? Nobody knew not forget my name. I don't think so. I doubt it. All right. Now, as I said before, the recording, the start of the recording, we have much to discuss tonight. I have not heard from a lot of you guys, but I'm happy that you're here. Our usual population is anywhere around 40 plus students, and along with the new students, it might be around near 50. All right. So as you can see, if you look at Zoom, you can see that it's telling you that there's 27 of us, including myself. Hence, therefore, we have 23 students that are outstanding out there, maybe not have light, not internet, no nothing at all. So we want to ensure that the class is interactive. We want to ensure that we get everybody's input into the decision making as it relates to moving forward, not only for the rest of the semester, but also going into January, because we may have to do a lot of adjustments in terms of the teaching style. How I normally teach, I'm going to have to truncate my teaching, right? I'm going to have to teach with a slightly well, I wouldn't say faster pace, but as opposed to going through the fundamental aspects of things, we may have to attack the teaching from a more truncated point of view, right? So we may have to attack, as opposed to attack from a teaching point of view, we're going to have to attack from a question point of view, meaning that most of the teaching will be done using a variety of questions that will still bring across the lesson, but it's going to bring across the lesson in a more jumbled format, and it's not going to be in my usual um, structured format. And I'm assuming that you guys may understand why this has to be done, because regardless of whether Hurricane Melissa came to Jamaica and did any form of damage, CXC still remains intact. There are rumors, and I cannot confirm this, there are rumors that CXC will be pushing back the exam date. So as opposed to the usual May, the first week or second week in May, somewhere there or thereabout, that's when the exam usually is scheduled. I am presuming and I am going with the rumor that there is going to be an extension, but I can't say how much. So I'm thinking that maybe they're going to extend the exam date to maybe about 2 weeks later. So as opposed to having the exam around the first or second week in May, you're gonna end up doing the exam maybe anywhere around the ending part of May, give or take the first week in June. So everything's gonna be pushed back by about 2 weeks. I can't confirm this. I'm not gonna tell you to run with it, but I'm gonna tell you that you should perhaps, kinda hold on to the hope that the exam is gonna be extended to a later date, and by extension, Miss Morgan is more than likely going to allow us teachers a few extra weeks in May to really continue our teaching, because the syllabus has to be completed and we have to still prepare you extensively for the exam. So, as it relates to the teaching, nothing cannot change. We still have to work according to the time, and we still have to teach you all, at least most of the 15 topics that are expected to come on the exam. So, a lot of sacrifices will have to be made, not only on my side, but also on your side as well. I have to take my Sundays that I would normally use to study my course at NCU, and I have to take those Sundays and give it to you guys to make up back for time. Which by extension, you guys will have to do the same, where you're gonna have to come out of your comfort zone, and rather than kicking back on a Sunday evening with the family and friends and watching Netflix and chill, you may have to give up those time for maybe like a month, 2 or 3 months, so we can put ourselves back in a more comfortable position before we can really say, all right, let us relax. And by the time all of that is done, you're gonna hear that exam is around the corner, so you're still not gonna get a chance to relax. All right. So I do hope that you understand the requirements. I do hope that you are you guys hearing me?
Yes,
Are you guys?
sir.
Yes. I'm so sorry. Somebody was calling. I do hope that you understand the nature of the requirements. That's the nature of the requirements um that will be sorry, the nature of sacrifice that will be required of you in order to put yourself into a position where we say we can do well. All right. All right. So that was the introduction to what we're going to be discussing tonight. You also should be aware that it's around this time I usually start talking about the SBA, because you know that the SBA is a very important component of your external exam. It is, in fact, them say it's 20, but I calculate it's 11. So if you want to run with what them say online, run with it. I always tell the students over the past 5 years, all the years that I've been teaching SB, is that based on the mathematics and how much it's marked out of, the calculation that I get is 11%. So whether it's 11% or 20%, them say it's very important. Without the SB completion, you cannot get a grade. You'll be marked ungraded. But with a good SBA, you're still not gonna necessarily say you can pass, but you would have put yourself in a position to to pass, right? Once you do well on the structured paper. Please forgive me for those background noise. I do have countless amount of messages coming in while I'm teaching. This is crazy, but forgive me, guys. All right. So let's see here. So far, are there any questions from anybody, or are you just going to wait until I'm through with all the discussion? Are there any questions thus far from anybody? No. All right. So I'm gonna write on the screen so you guys can see what's going on. Give me a sec. All right. So the first um topic of discussion for tonight is going to be um some time adjustments in terms of teaching. So I'm gonna ask you your opinion, and you can put it in the chat and let me know. So let me just bring up my screen here. Hi, Miss Chance. It's nice to see you back. Is my class being recorded? Yes, it is being recorded. Yeah, it is. All right. So let's. My screen is being shared as well. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can find my board. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about a few things as it relates to the time. Remember, tonight we're not regular teaching. It makes no sense. I just dive into teaching. We all have to kind of set the pace as it relates to. So before we dive into start teaching as if we're in a rush and we're running around like headless chickens, that would not make any form of sense. But that is in my opinion, so my professional opinion. So all right, so here is what we're going to be talking about. Right? Usual class time. So these are all hypothetical suggestions. you are free to say, I can't manage that, or I can't do that, right? But I'm just throwing it out there based on the time that I've been absent and away from you. I've been thinking a lot of it, right? I know that it's going to affect us. So I've been coming up with plans after plans after plans. So here we go. Our usual start time, right, is 7 o'clock to 8:30. That's what you paid for, right? So alternatively, guys, what I'm thinking about here is, one, if we could go from 6:30. So I would have to literally leave class immediately and get to, well, I'm not gonna say 6:30. I'm gonna say 6:45. So I want you guys to start logging in at 6:45 so we can actually start by 7 as opposed to starting at 7:10. So we'd log in at 6:45 as opposed to 7 o'clock, and we'd start the official teaching by 7. So that means our usual start time of 7:10, we would have, captured back 10 minutes there. And as opposed to finishing at 8:30, I'm thinking that maybe we could finish at 8:45, or considering the magnitude of sacrifice that we have to make, I'm thinking about 9 o'clock. So that would be 2 hours per class for the rest of the semester. So we're trying to grab back at least an extra half an hour of teaching. So that's what I'm thinking along that line. All right. So as it relates to that, you can go ahead and put a yes or a no in the chat, and I'll check it in a few to see what everybody else is saying. All right. So you can just put a yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. All right. You're not forced to. Right. So this is just me trying my very best to, get back at least half an hour per class. If we can do 4 classes with going over by half an hour, mathematically that would be 2 extra hours that we grab back from Melissa that she took from us. So if it's 6 class, it's 3 hours. If it's 8 class, that's an extra 4 hour that we grab back. So I don't know what you guys think. You can leave it in the chat as opposed to speaking it out loud through the microphone. It's going to cause a whole disturbance. So just leave it in the chat, in the Zoom chat, and let me know if you would like to, if you agree with what is on screen here. All right. So we're gonna open the login. We're gonna open the portal for the students to start jumping in the class by 6:45. And so by 7, we are going to just dive right into teaching. We're not itch. So we'll be grabbing back at least 40 minutes per class. All right. So let me know that. I'm going to check that in the chat shortly. All right. Now, and I love everybody's opinion, new and old students, right? Everybody has a voice, so please voice it. Please don't stay silent and just let everybody make the decision for you.
Sir.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. All right. So this time goes with the Sunday time also.
We're going to get to the Sunday discussion shortly.
Oh, okay.
This is just for the weekly class.
All right. No problem. It's okay with me. Okay.
All right. Good. Just make sure you document it in the chat, though. Yes, yes, I agree, or no, I don't, or no, I can't. Right? Because there are some persons that work, and me starting at 7:10 is just convenient enough for them. So they might feel a little bit left out, saying that, sir, I'm going to miss out 20 minutes of the class. You still have to take other person's situation into consideration. So majority is going to rule, though, okay? So if I get majority of the person saying yeah, then we're going to run with that. All right. All right, good. So based on the decision, when I check it shortly, we'll just document it here and save it. All right. Now, as it relates to the so that's for the week. Now, as it relates to the Sunday classes now, right? This is definitely to get back the time lost between October 27th and Monday gone, right? So when I did the calculation, excluding tonight's class, it would have been 10 classes missed. And you can check it for yourself. Sure you trust me enough. I'm sure you trust. Hold on. Is there somebody in the chat that wants to come in? Because I still keep seeing persons messaging. Give me a sec, guys. This is one of the thing this is one of the thing I don't want to happen. Persons are logging in late, so it does prevent me from, flowing as how I want to flow. So try to make sure you guys log in as early as you can. So when I did the earlier calculation, guys, I saw that there were 10 classes that were missing, and we not even include Heroes Day that they took from us, right? So I could say 11, but Heroes Day is a public holiday, so naturally we wouldn't have class anyways. So 10 classes were missing because of Hurricane Melissa, light gone and no internet. And when they do the math, if one class is an hour and a half, then that means that would be 10 times 1.5. That would be equal to 15 hours of session miss. That's like 3 months out of regular public teaching. 15 hours in a private school like this is crazy. It's a lot of time missed out. So, we're not, this 15 hours now, we're looking at, so for the each Sunday, Ms. Morgan is saying that in terms of, statistically, we know that students cannot. And usually, after 1.5 hours, them brain start shut down, regardless of whatever sacrifice has been made. The brain just set at 1.5 hours. After 1.5 hours, them start almost forget everything you say in the last half an hour. So we're saying that, okay, then, to maximize on the time, we're thinking about 2 hours on Sunday. We can't go past that. I told her 3, she said no, because 3 hours is just too much. And I agree, I agree. 3 hours to teach is crazy. So we're thinking 2 hours, right? And if you do the math, you'll realize that there's only 4 Sundays all the way up to December the 21st, right? And this December the 21st, you see, school actually closed the Wednesday before the 21st. That's the last day. So the 21st is the Sunday, the 20th is the Saturday, the 19th is the Friday, the 18th is the Thursday. That means your last class, if there was no hurricane and all that stuff, it would have been the 18th of December. That would be your last class. So I am going to tell her that I'm going to go up to the 21st, which I'm going to, so after school closes on the 18th, then I'm still going to come back and teach you guys for another 2 hours on the 21st. So if you see that 4 times 2 hours additionally, 4 times 2 hours, that's just 8 hours out of the 15 we lose. So you see mathematically, we're still going to be hanging off 7 hours short. And this is just the Sunday that we're doing. So we're still 7 hours short, right? And then even with that little half an hour that we're running over, if you do the maths with the rest of the classes left for the semester, say half an hour. Let's say we do 8 more classes. Let's say we do 8 more classes up until, and I don't think we have 8 more. I think it's probably like 6 more, 2, 4, probably about 6 more. So let's just say that we do 6 classes, right? And let's say we do 6 classes and we went over by half an hour. That's just 3 additional hours extra that we got. So when you look at the maths, that's 11 hours. We're still short 4 hours. So you see what I'm talking about? So no care what we do, is almost like we can't catch up. And even with the sacrifice we're making, we're still going to be short 4 hours. So how does Mr. Peart catch up on these 4 hours? I can't. Because holidays coming up, people are going to spend time with family and friends. We can't say, hey, let's teach after. No. Everybody deserves a little break, right? And we can't overdo it. So how we're going to catch up on these 4 hours is that we're going to do what is called compressed teaching. So we're going to have to call those 4 hours a loss. Compressed teaching. And compressed teaching is where I am going to ignore the idea of giving you, let's say, notes. So when I'll come to class and say, hey guys, dictate this, dictate that. No. So I've already prepared some worksheets, right? I already have them prepared. So each class, as opposed to coming in the class and say, hey guys, this is that. And, let's say we're teaching consumer arithmetic and I'm going to come and be like, salary is this, and give you some basic examples. I'm just going to hit you with exam structured questions. So we're attacking not only the topic, but we're attacking 4 or 5 topics per night, subtopics, pardon me. So let's say I come to class and I'm going to teach you about discount, sales tax, and hire purchase. And those are the 3 topics I intend on teaching, which I don't think I could teach so much in one night anyways, with all the examples I usually give. As opposed to doing that, we'll come to class and we do a question on every topic under consumer arithmetic. So we'll do like 10 questions for the night and we will just attack them. So each question pop up, I'll just show you the formula that you use and you just make notes as we go along. So that's what I call compressed teaching. All right. So we're going to stick to the same routine where on a Monday, we do one topic and on a Wednesday, we do the other. Right. So the same, but it's going to be compressed teaching. So if I close this here and I pull up our last document that we used, if I pull up at the last slide that we were using, right? And the new students would not be aware of this. But if I pull up the last slide, it's slow. Correctly, I knew that we were on fundamentals. So right, as you can see here, we were on fundamentals. These were the things that we were doing. Our last topic that we were doing would have been ratio. And I'm assuming that I would have either sent the link in the group to that video, to that recording. If I didn't, you can always go on my YouTube channel and check on the last recent post I made. You would see this video. So that means we would have stopped at ratio. We can't do no more fundamental mathematics right now. Any fundamental mathematics that needs to be done will have to be learned. While we are doing the core topics. We have to actually get into the core areas. All right. So all of this fundamental, this percentage, that over that, you're going to learn these as we go along. You're going to have to make some notes, draw some arrows, do some little touch up, right? Compressed teaching. So we can't do the babying anymore. All right. We have to get to the meat of the matter because at the end of the day, you may only see one, maybe none of these fundamental questions. We have to get to the core, the real exam questions or the real exam topics. Okay. So that's going to be my plan, compressed teaching to accumulate for that 4 hours that we will not be able to get back before the end of this year. All right. And I don't think anybody here is going to be like, oh, after Christmas and Boxing Day. No, we all want to relax and unwind and, go look for family and friends and all that good stuff, Because we've been through an ordeal. So I don't feel like it makes human sense to really push ourselves to the limit, and then we, some persons are going to miss out, and we don't want that. So once school close, we just forward back January and pick up where we leave off. All right. Lovely. So that's my plan. That's what I was thinking about throughout the course. All right. So compressed teaching. So that would have been, so we would have finished with fundamentals. We can't go back there. And I think that we were on measurement. So again, as it relates to measurement, I have a compressed document that is filled with questions. We're just going to pull up the document on screen, and then all we're going to do is just work the questions that are in the practice paper. All right? All right, so you'll get a chance to see that on Monday when we dive right into teaching without hesitation. All right, any questions thus far? You guys are liking the plan. I'm going to check the chat now. Does that plan seem comfortable for everybody? I'm checking the chat. There's about 22 persons that were responding. So there are 34 persons in the class. What about the other 12 persons? Don't you think you need to voice your opinion? So it would be an inconvenience, but I will try my best. I appreciate that, Monique. So I'd love to, but have other classes on Monday and Wednesday. But you have my class. What? Miss Garden? My class is when you have on Monday and Wednesday. So you have another class after mine? Or before mine?
I have it before, sir.
So
and they had adjust the time to accommodate me.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to join us at 7 o'clock?
At 6:45, I wouldn't be able to join.
No, but the to come into the class, it's open by 6:45, and we start
Okay.
teach by 7.
Okay.
But regardless, still the class is being recorded. So whatever you miss out or whatever like a chunk, you'll be able to still get it back.
All right.
All right, so she'll try. So no problems there. Hopefully, if everything goes right, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. This Sunday is when we start. So it's not next year. This Sunday we are start. All right. Okay. Good. For the persons who are just joining, remember the class is being recorded. So whatever was discussed prior to you joining the class, you can always watch back the recording when I post it sometime tomorrow. All right. So I'm not really seeing anything to that goes against the plan. Feel like everybody seems to like what we're planning on doing. Not yet. Sir, Sunday's 2 hours. Yeah, so 2 hours is what we're working with on Sunday. I posted it in the group, so I'm thinking about 1 p.m. So that means I'm incorporating persons who actually go to church. Can't disrespect Father God, you see what I'm saying? And we can't disrespect the other persons, them who actually take them church seriously. So I'm thinking that, okay, church starts at 10, finishes at 1, or finishes at 12, or whatever the case may be. You guys may be able to like go to church and do half Sunday and then running back to the class or something. Right. Those classes also will be recorded as well. So should you be in the event that you may not be able to participate live, you'll still be able to get the recording and watch what occurred on the Sunday same way. All right. So I'm not really seeing anything too negative in the chat. Well, not negative, but going against. No, Fridays are not good because I have 3 classes at MI on Fridays. And then after that, by the time I'm done, it's like 4 o'clock. Friday evening is more like a, cool off the brain. It's been a long week type of vibe. Most persons that are in work in Jamaica, them know say Fridays are them hot day. So most persons are at work on Friday nights. And Saturday mornings, you may have a few persons available, but you have 7-day Adventists as well. So we can't rule out them people. So Sunday is most likely a better day. If you can't say 1, we can probably say 2 till 4. So give you 1 more hour to get from church and to get here. So I'm thinking Sunday at 1. And if more persons are voting 1:30, then we can, you can text it in the chat and say, sir, 1:30 sounds more convenient. I would work with that, okay? All right, so that is the plan going forward thus far as it relates to class. All right. So we see the amount of hours that Melissa took from us based on my little scribblings on the screen. And we see that we're going to short 4 hours. So it's the compressed teaching that's going to really give us, it's the compressed teaching that's going to really cause us to get back those 4 hours. And the compressed teaching, as I said earlier, and I reiterate, the compressed teaching is going to be where, as opposed to coming in class and working some like a baby examples, we're just going to just hit the questions immediately. We're going to be teaching from a question point of view as opposed to a theoretical point of view. All right, that's the only way guys have calibrated to get back those hours that were taken from us. So provided that we don't have any issues, then that's the plan going forward, okay? All right, good. All right, I'm just going to give you guys 2 minutes of silence. We can just process Wagwan. And I'll be right back to talk about the next aspect of our session. 1:30 is more convenient for me on Sundays. All right, I will. And then Nicolette says 2 to 4. All right, so we're going to work with the last one, 2 to 4. Right? So that means I would be able to incorporate Miss Gentles and Stacia. So we're gonna stick with 2 to 4, guys, okay? 2 to 4. Alright, so Sash Monique is saying 1:30, so that is still 2 to 4, same way. Alright, so 2 to 4 is good for me. Doesn't matter. 2 to 4. Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes of silence. Just go and process that, make some jottings, make some notes, and then now we're gonna jump into the important part, which is the SBA discussion. Alright, so give you 2 minutes of silence. All right, guys, I am back. I'm back. We are going to be going into the other phase of the discussion tonight. All right. So for those who are just joining in, all we were doing earlier was that we were just discussing some slight adjustment in terms of teaching as well as in terms of the start time for class. So the consensus is that we are now going to start commence teaching at 7, and the portal for jumping into the class will be open at 6:45 as opposed to 7 o'clock. Right? So the portal will be open. So try to log in and get early so that when I start teaching, I won't be able to hesitate. I just get to work. Okay? And so we also agreed, based on what the chat is saying, we also agreed that we are going to be doing our Sundays for 2 hours from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. every Sunday until school closes on December the 18th. There will be an additional Sunday class for December the 21st. And that's when the last time you'll be attending classes for this semester. Okay? So that was the consensus for those who just joined in. That's all that we were discussing. Bunch of talking, not more. Right? You haven't missed out anything. Now, the SBA. The SBA, let's jump into that. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the SBA is a very, very important component of the external exam. All right, let's put it out there from now, and I'm happy that the class is being recorded. Person can't say me never did say, person can't say I said what I didn't say, or say I didn't say what I was supposed to say. So the SBA is an important component of your external exam. It is mandatory. Without an SBA, then you are not going to be able to get a grade. It's going to be, your name is going to come down as ungraded. With an SBA, I'm going to emphasize on this, with an SBA, you are still not guaranteed a pass. So there is, or there has been rumors over the years that, oh, when I get a good SBA, I automatically can pass, or I already get a grade 3. I don't know where a person starts spreading that rumor about. There are some very ingenuous people out there that, will say stuff, and I'm assuming that you're a student, so you are going to believe them because nobody else believe. Take it from me, Mr. Vitava. My name is very credible. Surely you know this. So when me tell you, say, it's not just I'm a supervisor. So outside of working at Csec examination council body, I am responsible for the examination to be held at Winston Jones High. So me I tell you, say, a facts. Me work with CXE. So I wouldn't be here telling you a lie. All right. So the SBA component is worth 20%. Right? On the site, that's what it says. The site says 20%. But based on my calculation, over the years, I've told all my students that the examination, the SB is worth 11%. All right? And that's what I'm running with. And why I run with that, it's less than what they say. So that means if what they say is true, then that means you're going in the exam heavy. If what I say is true, then you're going in the exam still heavy, right? So if what I say is not true and what they say is true, you'll be going in the exam even better, right? So let's work with 11% for now. The exam, the SBA, pardon me, is worth 11% of your external examination, right? 11%. I can't bother to go through the whole breakdown of it, right? Maybe next year, whenever I'm doing marathons, you guys will understand a little bit more about the breakdown. But for now, the SBA is worth 11% of the exam. Give me a sec. Let me just zoom this up 1 second, guys. I don't know what's going on with my So the SBA is worth 11% of the exam. Yes, question?
Sorry, you're sharing a screen. I'm not seeing it.
Oh, y'all not see my screen? Guys, are you seeing my screen or no?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, and if you tell me sometime it will jump off. So now if you tell me when time it jump off, okay, please. You should see it in 3, 2, 1, 0. Confirm? Seeing it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the SBA, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth, for me, 11% of the exam. All right? 11% of the exam. All right? And as I said, with an SBA, you are guaranteed a grade. So you're guaranteed a grade. Not a passing grade, but a grade. And without the SBA, you are, that's called an automatic failure. All right, that's called an automatic failure. Now, there are persons here that may be reusing an SBA grade. I'm not sure if that's anybody in here that will be doing that, because maybe you did the exam last year and you had a good SBA grade, and when you signed up at MI, you put your name in the slot that says I will be reusing an SBA grade. Well, whatever we're going to be discussing will not be applied to you. However, if you are redoing an SBA or you're doing a fresh SBA for the first time, then everything here will be applied. Now, as I said, during the attempts, I didn't waste my class. I'll come home early, and when I should be teaching you, I'd be thinking about strategies. I'd be putting things in place for you. All right. Now, I'm going to go into my WhatsApp chat here, and you will see that I send you 2 messages earlier prior to the class starting. It's in the group. I sent you 2 PDF documents. All right. The PDF document would have had a message in between them. Now, the first PDF document, and I'm pulling it up on the screen at the moment. You will see where it gives you basically 60 questions that I came up with, right? And as you can see, they're spread out 60. Now, I use a chatbot AI, and I ask the chatbot AI to organize them into categories. So as you can see, it's rewritten the topics that I've given the chatbot AI into categories. The categories are consumer behavior and spending patterns. There are 10 topics that's related to that topic. So if you're interested in doing an SB under the consumer behavior and spending patterns, you can choose any one of those 10, or you can choose anyone outside of that 10. There are some topics here that are under the category of time, distance, efficiency studies. I put about 5 of them there. If you're into doing SBA or related to finance, banking, and investment, there are some topics there. If you're into health, nutrition, and lifestyle, there are some topics there for you as well. Or if you want to focus a little bit on education, grades, and social media, there are a few topics there for you as well. You want to talk about transportation and vehicles, there are some topics there for you as well. Sports and physical performance, there are some topics there for you as well. Construction, housing, and cost analysis, there are some topics there for you, and the list goes on. So it was compressed from the 60, there were some repeated topics, so it compressed it down to 49. Now, with these topics, these are the topics that I capsulate from online, as well as topics that I sat down and came up with just by my observation. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to pick a topic from this list. You can have your own topic. You can come up with a topic, and then you can message me and share it with me and say, does it sound like a mass SBA topic? And then I would advise you to move forward with it or not, based on, what the SBA requires, right? So you don't want to choose something silly. You want to choose something. So you can take any one of these topics, twist it, bend it, turn it, flip it, do whatever you want to do with any one of these topics here, right? and then you can turn it around and twist it up how you want to twist it up, but make sure that it's still related something to mathematics. All right. So here's your first task, right? And this is going to be due. I need to at least be getting, well, you don't need to tell me, but you at least need to come to a final decision as it relates to which one of these topics you would like to attack. All right. Please scour through all 49. Look through all of them. Don't take up nothing more than what you can manage. Do not do any topic that will put you out of your way. All right. Do not pick any topic. No matter go pick topics like number 37. Investigation into the effects of run-up speed on long jump versus triple jump. Unless you're in high school, I have access to get people to run and dive off in the sun, then do that. But don't pick nothing that go put you out of your way. You want to pick something that is within your reach. Because remember that we have adults in here that work, so they may not necessarily have the time to go and run up and down and talk to people. You want to choose something that maybe you can do within your workplace, maybe from your home, something that you have control over, right? So topics like, for example, I like topics on it's the persons who work and have limited time, especially if they have a family. You want to choose topics like on the consumer behavior and spending patterns, right? For example, you can look at the average monthly food expense. Adults here, they want to buy food all the time, right? And not having receipts. So you can do a topic under that and you can calculate the average money that you spend on a monthly basis. And you can talk, you have several ways to collect the data. We're going to talk about that as we go along, right? So pick any one of these, or if you want to go online and you can type in easy SBA math topic. You can even ask Chatbot AI. Let me show you what Chatbot AI is, because I've been talking to my students during the day and I don't think they understand what I mean by Chatbot AI. So watch me now, guys. Pay attention to the screen. You will go on your Safari if you have an iPhone, or if you have Google Chrome. If you have a computer, just go on the web, go online, go on Google, and you will type in Chat GPT. Right? Sometimes it's not what you use, is how you use it. So it says, ask me anything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type something in. Can you provide me with 10 simple math SBA topics, please? You don't have to say please, because it's AI, so you don't have to say nothing. You don't have to show it no courtesy. It's a robot, so it really doesn't care if you say please or not. Boom, and then it goes. It says, sure, here are 10 examples, and boom, just like that, within minutes you get 10 SBA topics. So you don't have to choose mine. You can look at those. You can even ask it when you go down here. You can say, it says, if you want, I can also help you pick the best one for your grade level. You can write you an introduction, aim, methods, and all sort of something. But you don't want to do that. You don't want the AI to do your work for you. What you want is that you want it to help you to structure your work better. You can even go further and say, can you provide me with 10 additional or 20 additional or 30 additional topics, right? So you don't have to use any of the ones that I gave you. You can go out and use Chatbot AI and help you. So here it says, number 1, investigating students' study time versus test score. That's a beautiful topic. Right now, let us grab that and run with that right now. A survey on the favorite school subjects. That's another easy, nice topic. Comparing prices of common grocery items. That is on my list. The most popular sports among students. That's a nice topic that's within the reach of your ability. Because you can even watch TV and get the data. Investigating the average time students spend on social media. That is in mind. Relationship between height and arm span. I don't really like that, but you can do it if you like it. Bus arrival. There's just, oh my God, guys, when I tell you, doing SBA is literally a cakewalk. It's not difficult, all right? So I'm just giving you a piece so that you can utilize that there, okay? So like I said, guys, you want to go ahead and you want to use up the resources that are available for you. Don't sit down and try to do it by yourself or try write and articulate. It's not going to sound good. Right? And this is no offense to the persons here who are very good at English language. This is just me saying, if you're going to do something, just do it well and done and get a good grade and just prove to me after that. But for now, we just want a solid SBA that looks good so I can give everybody a nice solid 18, 19, or 20 to 20. All right, so use up the resources that are out there for you. Don't sit down and beat up your brain trying to do something that is, we are already fighting a difficult battle against time. So use up your resources, okay? So objective number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is for you to select or find a SBA topic that you're comfortable with. Something that is simple, easy, and you can bring across mathematical concepts, okay? Any questions from anybody thus far? So I'm giving you some help there. I didn't even have to tell you this, I did not have to tell you this. Are there any questions from anyone? Any questions? No?
No, sir.
No questions. All right. Please make sure that you make a note of all of this. Although the class is being recorded. So that is it right there. All right. So that explains document number 1 and the message that were sent in the group. Okay. Lovely. All right. For document number 2 here. Now, what you'll see in document is a bunch of stuff. You see that? If you read this by yourself, you'll be like, oh, God. So, Pierre, me not understand nothing where you put, but me not know what go on here. So, well, I'm about to explain it to you, right? So, look at the heading. It says, key points for mathematics SBA introduction. So, because you guys are just resuming class tonight, all my other groups would have just gotten to this stage. I literally just started talking to them about the SBA this week. My day school students, I started talking to them about it last week. My evening class students, it was just literally this evening that I spoke to them in regards to what you're seeing on screen. So you're not behind as it relates to the SBA. So before we get to this, give me a sec. Let me just go back to the board. Please write this down. Even though the class is being recorded, please write this down. You're going to write down for me the SBA outline. What are the components that are in the SBA? Okay, so please write this down for me. SBA outline. All of what I will be putting here will be what's required for the SBA. Nothing more, nothing extra. Just what you see here. So the first thing is going to be what is called a project title. This is going to be a project title. Give me a second, guys. I think this thing is freezing. It's freezing. Give me a sec. Let me just grab something up. Right. So the first thing is going to be a project title, ladies and gentlemen. And this project title is worth 1 point. So, Mr. Pierre, what is the project title? Well, the project title is the topic that you will be selecting from the list I just showed you. That is your project title. All right. It's usually supposed to be written in the form of a question, but I've already done all that work for you because just as how it's written in the document, you're just going to take out the topic and write it just as it is for your project title. I've done that work for you already. So I've written them in a statement question form already. So you don't need to do anything. Once you pick your topic, you automatically have your project title. All right. Now your project title will then be followed by what we're going to be discussing tonight, or aspects of what we're going to be discussing tonight. Your introduction. So this is where everybody is at the moment. This introduction comprises of 2 additional parts. So the whole thing is valid 4 points. All right. The introduction will have what is called the table of content, right? Which I think everybody knows. Every research paper has to have a table of content. And it also will have what are called objectives. So the introduction is worth 2, the table of content is worth 1, and the objective is worth 1. So that's how we calculate the 4. All right. So the introduction, you will describe something about it. We're going to talk about that shortly. Then you should have a table of content in your research paper, research project, and then you should also have what are called objectives. We're going to talk about that shortly. Objective or objectives. Okay. Following that, we should move on next to the method of data collection. Again, you don't need to write this because the document that I sent you, it has this. Well, it doesn't have this that I'm writing on the screen now, but everything related to the different parts, the introduction, method of data collection, the document explains, and you'll see it shortly. So the method of data collection is worth 2 points. Now, that's the target for the rest of the semester. That's where we're trying to get everybody to reach. We're trying to get everybody to at least reach the method of data collection, because if I get everybody to get to the method of data collection, then at least you guys would have 2 choices. One, you can either choose to use your Christmas break and collect the data, or you at least know how to collect the data. So when you resume and you come back January, you can at least collect the data during the first week of January, or somewhere, or during the first week as school commences. You can go ahead and collect the data. But we don't want anybody behind. We want everybody at the end of the semester, that's around December the 21st, to at least structure a proper method of data collection, right? Everything that I'm going to be writing down now will be discussed in January. So this now we're going to be moving on to what is known as the presentation of data. And this is where you're going to put in your graphs and stuff. We'll talk about that next year. God's spare life and in good health. Once we've completed the presentation of data, we're going to move to something known as the analysis of data. Sounds complicated, guys, but I will have samples, on top of samples, on top of samples, on top of samples, on top of samples. I will have samples, upon samples, upon samples to give you. So you'll have lots of samples to paraphrase, plagiarize, fix up, twist up, turn up, all sorts of something. So do not worry. Just take it stages, strides, and step at a time. Analysis of data. The presentation of data is worth 5 points. There's a bunch of stuff involved in that. We'll talk about that soon. The analysis of data is worth 2. Then we're going to look at the discussion of findings. That's worth 2. Then we're going to look at the conclusion. A math SBA is not a social studies SBA. It's not an English SBA. It's not a POB SBA. It's not an accounts SBA. It's a math SBA. So no matter putting no matter extra stuff, acknowledgement, appendices, bibliography, just what you see on screen is enough. Conclusion. That's where 2. I said we add these up. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 and 5 is 12. 12 and 6 is going to give us 18, sir. Where does the other 2 marks come from? The other 2 marks come from your overall presentation. So your OP, which is you're going to be your border, your grammar, your diction, how well you articulate yourself on paper, Make sure you're having your full stop, your comma, all your T's are crossed, all your I's are dots. Pages bordered, pages numbered, titles are centered, all that stuff, with a bold, Roman numeral, font size 12, all of that is accounted for. So if you don't present a proper SBA at the end, you will not get that additional 2 marks, so your highest score will be 18. All right? So that's your overall presentation, and that's how the SBA is marked out of 20 points. All right? Now, the first order of business, as I said, is to pick your topic. I'm going to give you a week. In fact, I can't give you a week like everybody else. I'm giving you until Monday for you to at least make a decision. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to text me and say, sir, this is my topic. If you want, you can, right? Because there's so many topics, it's hardly likely that we're going to get 10 persons choosing the same. But if I do get that, that might be a problem. Right? So, I'm hoping that we don't get 15 people that choose number 5 or number 7 or number 9, because it's easy. If I see this happening, the first person who report them topic, we only accept 3 or 4 persons doing the same topic. Everybody after them 3, 4 persons who I have seen, I've got to change them topic. So that's why I'm telling you guys to pick 3. Pick 3. Your favorite, your next favorite, and your least favorite. That in case you're salt, in case you're unlucky, sir, why am I on target? Why not make them change them topic? No. First come, first serve. Who first come to me and say, sir, this is my topic, they are the ones that I'm working with. If you come after that 3 or 4 persons wanting to do that topic, then you might end up having to choose your second best. All right? We can't have a bunch of persons doing the same thing over and over. It's not going to look good for the school nor for us. Okay? Even though the data is going to be different, we don't want to have an influx of people. 20 people doing number 5. That's crazy. There's 60 topics and everybody want number 5? No, not going to accept that. So ladies and gentlemen, your first order of business, and this is a personal decision that you have to make. That's the first order of business, to select your topic. Once you have done that, then automatically you have awarded yourself 1 point. All right. Now, I'm going to briefly run through the introduction, right? Briefly, because I do have 20 minutes left according to our scheduled time. Before I move on to the introduction, are there any questions thus far? Any opinions, any queries, anything at all from anybody? Everybody's up to speed. Everybody hear and understand what I say? No questions? I guess I'm clear as mud. Like that. All right. I know it's a bit overwhelming. We can't deny that. I know it's a lot of information for you to process in one night. But then that's why we have it over the weekend. So you have the recording, you can watch back and make your notes and jottings and stuff. So, like I said, it's a big sacrifice that we're all going to have to make. Things are going to be clumped up, patched up, but we're going to do what we got to do. All right. So let's jump into the introduction. Right. And everything is typed up for you already. So it's not like I'm asking you too much. All right. So in the introduction, right, I've broken the introduction down into parts. Fortunately, I can't write on the screen because this is in my WhatsApp. Can I? Hold on, wait. Can I do that? Oh, yeah, man, I can. Wow, wait, kid. It's appeared. Wow, yourself. So as you can see here, that the SBA introduction, I've broken it down into sections, and I've done it in such a way that almost everything that you're going to be doing requires just 1 sentence. So you can see here that the first one, so all of these things, number 1, number 2, number 3. Wait, edit this now. Wait. I'm not used to this part, Okay. So as you can see here, number 1, number 2, number 3. So number 1, number 2, number 3, and it goes on to number 4, 5, 6, 7. It basically is telling you the different things that needs to be seen in the introduction. So look carefully here. if you look carefully, that inside your introduction, there has to be some sort of background, something about background, right? The context of the study, right? And it does say to you right here, very clearly, you hear it say to you right here, that you should explain why the topic is important or relevant. Someone just need one line will tell me why the topic is important. Why is this topic that you've chosen from the 60 or the external 60? Why is this topic important? And try to ensure that the topic that you choose is connected to your real life or school environment. You can omit that part because all the topics that I've chosen are either real life related topics or it's a school related topic. As you can see, me put health and lifestyle, blah, 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 whatever, right? Right, good. So I gave you an example of what your background information should sound like. One sentence, and you can read it for yourself. Height varies among students and can influence sports performance and nutrition planning in school. So you guys can write something as it relates to that. Use it as a guide to how you would write a background. Now, some of you guys' background might be longer than one sentence. It might just be one sentence, but try not to make it too long and do a whole lot of excessive talking. We just need a one line as to why is this particular topic important to you. Why it's so important? Why do you want to do renting a house versus buying a house? Because it's important to understand it's important to understand the decision making between paying so much money for 25 years as opposed to paying a mortgage or even buying material. It's important to you because you realize that there has been an excessive increase in terms of rent paid monthly, yearly, depending on location. So that's why you think it's relevant. Why do you want to investigate the average amount of money spent on a monthly basis? Because things are get expensive, and you'd really like to tap into. Hold on, wait. I wonder how much money me really have spent a month, and then by extension, how much am I spending for the year? If I do what I'm doing now for the rest of the year and for the next 5 years, what is my average spending amount? That's a very important thing for me to know, right? So when you're writing your background, one sentence or two or three, right? It should just give me a little bit of detail, no a whole heap. I don't need it to tell me, say you buy rice, chicken, flour, pork, fish, and the chicken wing pop off, and the fish scale not scale properly, and the man will buy give the fish, him not no customer service. Hey, me not need to know none of that. I just need to know why is the topic important and why do you think this is a relevant topic to society. One sentence. All right? You will see then that also as you begin to structure your introduction, you may need to mention what exactly are you investigating. What exactly are you investigating? What is this topic? After you tell me the background about the topic, what exactly are you investigating? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get across? Why you choose this? Example, this project investigates the average heights of students in grade 10 of school X. That's what you're investigating. So it could be a simple case of, oh, all right, I'm just investigating the average heights of students in my classroom, or the average amount of taxes paid to KFC and Burger King on weekends by young people, or the average taxi fare paid, or the average amount of money spent on taxi fare over the course of the last 6 months, or the average amount of money spent on water bill or JPS bill or light bill or internet bill or something. So you clearly tell me what is the purpose of this particular research or this investigation. All right. Then you'll nicely glide on. I'm just going through a couple of them for you just so you don't feel like the document is overwhelming, right? As I scroll down here, you'll see that I move to number 3 where we look at the problem statement. This is what I talked to you about earlier about research question, right? Now, bear in mind that there are some topics that will require 2, 3 research questions. I really recommend that you do 2. Nobody do the whole for talking. Just get to the point, right? Now, give me 5 research questions. That is too much talking. 1 is nice and make sure so the one question where you have it well structured. So it bring out all 5 extra points we not even want to talk about. Or if you're gonna do 2, break them up into bullet points, small objectives. Like for example, um, what is the advantage of owning a business? 1. What is the disadvantage of owning a business? Sorry, yeah. What's the advantage? 1. What is the disadvantage? 2. How can owning a business improves one life? 3. That's it. Done. Yeah. Or let's say you're doing a topic like the amount of time spent talking to a customer service representative on the phone. You can say, what's the average time it takes after calling Scotiabank 5 times in one day? What's the average time it takes to get through to a CSR when you call NCB for one day? You know, you can look into specific areas of the research. Okay. And if we scroll down to number 4, you'll see right here that you're going to mention reason for selecting the topic. Why you choose this topic? Why it is so important to you? Now remember that the reason and the purpose is different, you know. The reason is personal. But the purpose, as you will see here, the purpose, give me a sec. Because people get the reason and the purpose different, you know. The reason is personal, but the purpose is stating exactly what you're doing. So one you're stating exactly what you're doing, and the other one you're stating why you're doing it. So don't mix them up. All right. And there's an example for you. I choose this topic because I noticed there's a height difference among students during one of my PE sessions. So that's why this particular person chose to do this SBA, right? Because them they all want PE session and them realize there's some tall persons, short persons, fat person, slim person, lots of stuff there. Lots of stuff. So then decides, you know what? I'm gonna investigate the average heights of students during my PE session. Okay? And then it goes on number 5. Then you have number 6. And you can read it for yourself. I know you guys are smart. Number 7. And then number 8 is optional, right? Now, when you put these little 1-liners and 2-liners and 3-liners in continuous prose, you get what is called a beautiful, beautiful mathematics introduction. And it will look and sound something like this. Can a student in my class go ahead and read what they are seeing on the screen for me? Anybody? Sassy, you want to read for me? Or Sash Monique, you want to read for me? Anyone can go ahead and read.
This school-based assessment explores the mathematical concept of statistics by investigating a real-world situation within my school environment. I chose this topic because I have always noticed differences in students' height during physical education sessions and group activities. This made me curious about how tall students in my grade actually are and whether the average height is higher or lower than what I expected. The purpose of this project is to determine the average height of students in grade 10 at School X. The study aims to answer the research questions. What is the average height of students in grade 10 at School X? This investigation will also help me to understand how data is organized, represented, and interpreted using mathematical methods. To complete this project, I will apply several mathematical concepts, including data collection and organization, construction of frequency tables, grouping data, measures of central tendency, mean, median, and mode, representing data using bar charts, pie charts, and histograms, interpreting results to make conclusions. The target group for this study consists of 50 students from grade 10 at School X. Data will be collected by measuring each student's height using a standard measuring tape during class time. This will ensure accuracy and fairness in the results. By carrying out this project, I expect to gain a better understanding of how statistical tools can be used to describe a real situation. I also hope to identify patterns and compare height differences among students in my grade. Ultimately, this SBA will show how mathematics can be applied to everyday situations in a practical, meaningful way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for reading that. You read that so well. Now you
Thank
may
you.
you're welcome. So you may be a little bit apprehensive about certain that I can't write my SBA sounds so beautiful. That's why you have chatbot AI. I didn't write this. All I did was just give chatbot AI my points. And then I asked it to just structure this in a student written format for a math SB. And it did it for me. And then when it sound too fancy and it not sound like me, we just take out some stuff, put in some stuff, add in some stuff, twist up some stuff. That is what you call paraphrasing. So you paraphrase it, and then in the event that you want to show a little bit of credit, you can say, I source it from chatbot AI or something like that. I don't need to mention all of that because I don't, Six is not going to really go into it and be like, oh, let me see what this student did. And they are getting millions of SB. Nobody has time to go through details. So it's our job as the teacher to ensure that if we ask you to use these tools, don't use it entirely and just be lazy. Use it to guide you, help you, to give you the flow and the diction and the articulateness that you're looking for. But don't just make it do it for you and then just hand it to me because I will know. Remember, say me that AI person, me love them something. So if you use it and it don't sound like you fix it up and me not like that. That's why I want you guys to start. I want you guys to submit your points to me before you submit the actual AI written format. And some persons may not even need the AI. You will literally just write it and make it flow, right? Now, if you notice that, and I didn't just write one, I wrote 5. And not only did I write 5, I highlighted the sections that brought out the 7 points that were discussed. If you look at it, I highlighted purpose of project, average heights of student at school X. Everything that I highlight represents 1, 2, 3. Let me show you them. Hold on. Give me a sec. So if you notice that I highlighted 5 points earlier, look at this. Purpose. Hold on. Give me a sec. Oh. So look at this. Purpose. At school X. 3, 4, 5. See everything that I highlight? And I think there's one more. 5, that's 5. Oh, see that? Hold on, this one. Give me a second. Come on, Mr. Peart. You're acting like you cannot use this thing here. So here, right, good. That's my topic. That's my project title. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I added that extra one here, 7. And then number 8 is optional. So 7. And then this part down here by carrying out the project, blah, blah, blah. That's optional. You don't need to add that part. That's 8. So as you'll see here, not only did I give you one sample, but I gave you 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have given you more, but I feel like I spoil you. Each of these are written in a different way. Some of them shorter than some of them longer than some. They are all written in a different way. Some with 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph, 5 paragraph. Use one of these samples to guide yourself, to structure it. You can even use one style from one style from the next one style from the next one, and fix it up and make it your own. You really don't even need AI. And I know you guys are smart, right? So that's pretty much what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So that's it. So that's your main objective between now and for the introduction, I'll give you until next week, Wednesday, right? But for the topic, at least by Monday, you guys should have a fairly good idea of what topic you're going to choose or what 3 topics you're resonating with. And then you put your top pick up at the end. You're free to send me a message to say, sir, this is the topic that I've chosen. All right. And I'll, obviously WhatsApp is going to store our chat history. All right. But it is enough for tonight. This is a whole lot to process, right? And I trust that you guys will understand what is required. So there you have it, and that document is already in the group. The student who mentioned something about Google Classroom, it's just an additional hub that I use. I wanted to use it to really make the class, it's online, so I wanted to make the class. I wanted to be able to talk to my students without having to like go in the group and so if I post something, I'll be able to say all I need to say in the Google Classroom. But I've not been using it a lot from the other day, so don't worry too much about it. If I happen to start using it again, then you will know. All right, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it as it relates to the majority part of the discussion. On Monday, we'll be running through these papers. You were supposed to get a test, but we don't have the time to give a test. So, ladies and gentlemen, look on the screen here. These are 2 exams, right, that were given to the day school and the evening class students face to face. We will be going through these questions as a form of catching up. All right, so we'll be going through the questions that is related to the topics that I would have been teaching up until before Melissa. So we're running through a couple of these questions. Right, here they are. Right, obviously you can't do everything because I haven't taught you some of these topics as yet, but for the ones that I've taught you, we're going to be going through them in our next class, so we can get a little warm up and feel back like we're in a class after Melissa. Okay, so I won't be hitting you with any teaching topics right away, but we're going to be using these documents that I've created and running through some questions. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there aren't any questions that you may have, this will bring our class to the end for tonight. And the mic is open. Do you guys have any questions, any inquiry? Do you understand what you need to do? If there aren't any questions, I will see you guys on Sunday at 2 p.m. We will be kickstarting our teaching. Remember, we're going to be teaching, stop
Sir,
practice.
sorry to cut you. I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the SBA, we are going to have to include like graphs and charts depending on our topic.
I think most SBA will require at least 1 or 2 graphs, but there are some SBAs that genuinely don't need any. So it depends on it depends on what the topic SBA is. You may need a 1 graph to make it thing look nice, but some SBAs only use tables. That's it. But you may need a graph.
Okay, thank you.
It's not 10 graphs or 5. Probably sometimes it's just 2 or 3 or 1 sometimes. I remember, guys, so Sunday it is teaching. Miss the Sunday class, you will have to depend on the recording. All right, so we will be teaching from a document, from a paper. So I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have yourself a pleasant, peaceful, and productive rest of night. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Good night.
Thank you, and same to you, sir. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir.